I'm Seamus. Thank you so much for coming.
You've got a great cause worth fighting for. I couldn't wait to get here. That said, I expected, well, more people?
So far, there's only the two of us.
But we're highly motivated.
Well, it's a start.
Some people I knew already were dear friends of mine, like little gray cells, and just my stupid opinion.
Lots of interesting things. This is absolutely abominable, and the RCMP are really in the shit here, and they know it.
Hi, I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, but I think it's time that I needed to speak up.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
Something you watch on TV, horror movie, you shut it off a good bit. We can't shut this off. Every time we close our eyes, the horror movie turns on. So I know for myself, when I close my eyes, go try to go to bed, picture my parents being shot.
Trying to piece together a story that seems so unbelievable.
Let's have a look at this. I'm going to pause it periodically, and I'm going to try and not lose my shit because I was really angry. Really angry. I'm getting really pissed now. I'll preface this by saying I'm strongly urging all of the victims in this, the victims' families, to launch a class action lawsuit against the RCMP. And I would just love to have the RCMP under discovery. I have a lot of questions, and I'm sure a lawyer would too.
Canadian Mounted Police and their stories. Stories of their courage. Stories of their lives filled with hazard, romance, and adventure. The RCMP story this week, Gunslinger.
Oh my goodness, how many windows do I have open? How many windows do I have open? Okay, hopefully I have some sound. Maybe somebody can give me an A-okay. I think it's okay. I don't know, I never seem to do the technological stuff very well at all. All right, so we've got Blue Nose. Good, what are we at here? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I hear you guys have a storm down there. So hopefully everybody's faring well. We've got Linda. Linda, hello. NS44. Linda McDonald, hello. Truth and all. Hello, Tara. How's it going? Good to have you here always. Right, there was some power outages down there. Not so good. Brickleberry. Thank you for the thumbs up, Mark. Slippin'. What's happening? What's happening, Slippin'? Carla. Hope the power stays on for this one. Getting another storm. Okay, I guess I'm psychic. My intel. Mark Evans. Hello, Mark. Faye. Nikki Lewis. Salty Air. I don't know what the emoji means, that the stars. Maybe somebody can explain that to me one day. I'm not very good with this stuff. Gary, good afternoon. If it's afternoon for you, Gary. Oh, 2 people decided to leave. Okay. Lynn J actually got the notice. Good. I don't think many people get the notifications, so you can always ding the bell thing. Something about that. Barbara. Hello, Barbara. Uncle Blazer. Tommy Gunn. Lynn. Oh my God. Okay, there's another thing with the hearts. I was looking at my analytics the other day. Very interesting. 80% of my audience is female. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to take from that. I guess I'm not a misogynist. Sad. How's it happening? 2 flags. Woo. Yes, 2 flags. I had one given to me by Sharon, very kind, and another one I went and purchased on my own. Sharon's is the nicest one. How's that? Of course, it's the nicest one. Gifts are always the nicest. Lynn. Space. Great way to pass some time on a snow day. Bush baby. Haven't seen you in a long time. Janice Walker. 60 centimeters of snow. I'm sure this is all making news. Does anybody else notice about the, I don't know, you're going to have snow and it suddenly becomes headline news? Yeah, right. 60 centimeters, though, is quite a bit. But if it's like minor, it seems to make headline news. That's the latest thing that they're going to go after us about. Peaches and cream. Hello, caper. Strawberry. You got the notice and subscribed last night. Welcome, Gary. Paul, brother Paul, what's happening? Just ran out to put the chickens in. Sorry if I missed anyone saying hi. Chickens. Love the flags, missing home. Oh, Gary, you're not, you're away. Is that how it's said? Away or doing well, brother? Been a long time. JPF. They have been shadow banning you. First time I've seen you in months. This channel is always not been well liked by YouTube. I think I went on a list. I don't think I know. Years ago. Wintertime. 10 inches in Cornwall. Goodness, Faye. Don't get all snowed in. It's called getting snow. Don't worry about the real news. Let's talk about seasonal weather. Well, that's climate stuff. Loretta. Hello. Believe in brackets. I like that. Birdie. Been a while. Doing well. Yes, I'm doing well. And you're stuck in Sarnia, says Gary. Gary is stuck in Sarnia. Not like the Nova Scotia. Okay, wow. It certainly sounds like it's snowing all over the place. I don't know. It's nice here today. We have a Chinook. Those of you who aren't familiar with Chinook, we have those out here. And warm air comes in and the sky, actually, you'll get like an arch. It's called an arch. And there's blue sky beyond and then cloud the rest of the way and lots of warm air. So I think it's like 7 degrees or something today. Okay. Now, I was going to go back and revisit Gregson. Now, I left some links down below. Hopefully they're there. The video I did on it originally, I'm not sure when I did that story about Kevin Gregson. And I think it's queued up, hopefully, if I've got the tech stuff worked out. If you want to go back and familiarize yourself with the Kevin Gregson story, because it is quite a story. It's if you were to put Kevin Gregson into searches, you're going to get a lot of negative news, and I'm not here to defend or chastise him. I'm just simply explaining how the process with the RCMP is really rough on members. And I believe wholeheartedly that it took its toll with Kevin Gregson, 100%. I've never felt very good about all of what happened there, but aside from the fact, obviously, it's fairly horrific. But it seems rather, I don't know how to put it, fuzzy. Something like that. Happy Chinook. Happy Chinook. Can you drive across the border? I think you can for a couple of days, can't you, or something? Anyway, but I want to go back and show what's happened recently, or relatively recently, because there was an appeal that Kevin Gregson put in, and show that kind of there's some other things that go on the legal side of things that it all becomes very messy, I would say. So let's get into it. Ex-Mountie, we'll go to the first article here. Ex-Mountie who killed Ottawa police officer appealing murder conviction. Hopefully I can read. I keep losing glasses. Is that sufficient for everybody? Kevin Gregson fatally stabbed Constable Eric Zapinick outside Civic Hospital December 29th, 2009. The man who killed Ottawa Police Constable Eric Zapinick in 2009 is appealing his first-degree murder conviction. Kevin Gregson, a former Saskatchewan RCMP officer, killed Zapinick in the early morning hours of December 29, 2009. It was a crime that scared the city. Gregson is appealing his conviction on the grounds that his legal aid lawyer breached his duty of loyalty to him, beginning with a bizarre lie that the lawyer was a former police officer. That lawyer, Craig Fleming, quote, spun a tale, unquote, that would lead him to acting as a, quote, babysitter, unquote, who, quote, smoothed the way for the Crown to secure a conviction, unquote. Appeal lawyer Michael Lacey argued Tuesday morning in front of three-member appeal court panel. Pathological lie won Gregson's trust, appeal lawyer. In his affidavit to the appeal court, Gregson wrote that Fleming had told him he was a former RCMP officer who had been forced out. Now, again, if we go back to the big story, Gregson had a lot of issues throughout his RCMP career, and I would say unduly. And again, if you want to familiarize yourself with the story, I would say watch the video that I made previously. Maybe there's some good stuff in there. You'll find some names, anyways. You'll find some names. It's all part of the bigger picture. So, for a lawyer to come out against another lawyer, this is really big, because lawyers like their reputation. And if you're going to make an accusation against another lawyer, you can expect a lawsuit, almost guaranteed, because their livelihood and reputation is in jeopardy. So they defend that with the skills that they have, i.e. they sue. So for another lawyer to say this about another lawyer is quite interesting. In his affidavit to the appeal court, Gregson wrote that Fleming had told him he was a former RCMP officer who had, quote, been forced out. Quote, Mr. Fleming told me that he was a sergeant in charge of drug squad in Vancouver back in the 80s, and that in the process of serving a warrant on 2 people, he had killed them, unquote, Gregson wrote. The tale led Gregson to feel that he had, quote, a real bond with the lawyer. It was all a lie. Fleming had never been a police officer with the RCMP nor any other police force. There's Mr. Zapinick. Lacey called it a, quote, pathological lie. Now remember, this is a lawyer saying this about another lawyer. And I can assure you, that's a guaranteed lawsuit. That unless you have a law to back it up, that Fleming had been peddling since at least 2004. The lie gained Gregson's trust. Once in that position, Fleming disclosed trial strategy to prosecutors, and shared with them confidential and privileged communications he'd had with his clients, Lacey alleged. In one email to trial prosecutors, Fleming wrote he would do quote, do a tour of the case of law and, quote, raise no scintilla of a defense. He fundamentally misunderstood his role in the case, Lacey said. He wasn't an amicus, which is like a friend of the court. Amicus, a lawyer assisting someone defending themselves. He was a lawyer paid to defend the interests of his client. A question of ethics. Appeal prosecutor Alex Alvaro said, as bizarre as some of Fleming's conduct was, most of it could be reasonably explained, and, quote, he didn't need to throw his client under the bus. Or he didn't seek to. Indeed, Alvaro argued it was Gregson who was driving that bus and who was consistently changing his instructions to the legal aid lawyer, a lawyer who was only on the case after Gregson threatened his previous lawyer. There was no conflicting interest that was affecting Fleming's commitment to his client, and Gregson did not suffer a miscarriage of justice as a result, Alvaro said. The question, he said, is one of professional ethics and not one for the appeal court. First-degree murder trial. Gregson was convicted of first-degree murder in the Zapinick's stabbing death in March 2012. The former Mountie was also found guilty of robbery for carjacking in a West Ottawa parking lot and was sentenced to 5 years to be served concurrently. At trial, Gregson admitted to killing Zapinick, 51. Now that is an interesting thing of itself, because he said, I killed him, but I didn't murder him. So it's all very strange. Zapinick was writing reports while sitting in his patrol car outside the Ottawa Civic campus emergency room. Gregson approached and attacked the officer with a knife. In September 2012, he was also convicted of sexually assaulting a then 10-year-old girl. Those crimes occurred just 1 week before he killed Zapinick. I should have put in the article about who read her statement. I'm not trying to diminish anything here. It is all a very odd case. And I'm not saying that the RCMP set him up or anything like that, though that has been known to happen in the past. Perhaps I should go into some of those stories in the future. Zapinick joined the Ottawa Police Service in 2007. At the time, he was the oldest recruit in service history. The father of 4 was following in the footsteps of his own father, who had been a police officer for 30 years. The appeal court has not yet set a date to deliver its decision. Now, we'll go to October 2021. Man who convicted Ottawa police officer has conviction appeal dismissed. Ontario Court of Appeal denies Kevin Gregson's appeal for first-degree murder conviction. The Ontario Court of Appeal has denied Ottawa cop killer Kevin Gregson appeal on first-degree murder conviction in decision released Thursday. A three-member panel of judges dismissed the appeal of the one-time RCMP officer who, in December 2009, fatally stabbed Ottawa Police Constable Eric Zapinick. Gregson appealed his conviction based on the grounds that his legal aid lawyer breached his duty of loyalty to him, beginning with the bizarre lie that his lawyer was a former police officer. That lawyer, Craig Fleming, quote, spun a tale that would lead him to acting as a babysitter, Lacey alleged. So basically, I think they're just copying and pasting here. The key is Gregson felt a real bond. So Gregson had a lot of difficulties with the RCMP, and to hear that his lawyer, had been wronged equally by the RCMP garnered his trust. And I would argue that's probably true. Hello, remote. Good morning. Good afternoon, neighbors checking in from Little Rock. Hello. Hello from Little Rock. Great stuff. Thank you for dropping by. Now, I don't think there's anything else much new there. What we'll do, though, so first he says that he's an RCMP officer. So is alleged, right? Now let's have a look at the decision. There's a couple of passages in here. Actually, there's a few. I've, again, left the decision in links below, so you can read through it. It's 28 pages. I'm not going to read through it all. But I will read you this passage. Again, I'm just sowing the seeds for other things to come. After Mr. Campbell's report, it came to light, this is the decision, came to light that Mr. Fleming had lied about being an RCMP officer when he first met the appellant. He had also lied when he explained his February 13th, 2012 letter to the Crown in response to Ms. Newton's Smith's concerns. He had said that he had consulted with his daughter, Mr. Fleming. The lawyer had consulted with his daughter, who was a neurosurgeon. It turned out that Mr. Fleming does not have a daughter. Mr. Fleming was cross-examined by the appellate counsel in 2019 on his conduct of the trial. He has since retired. He has retired since the trial. He now suffers from cognitive deficits, as a result of which his memory of the events are extremely limited. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds rather strange. The reason the neurological stuff comes into play is because Kevin Gregson suffered from cysts in his brain, and he argued that he was more aggressive as a result. Kevin Gregson appears to be a fairly, I wouldn't say, he's a very alpha male, is the way that I would qualify it as. I have spoken to people who know of his story more intimately than I do, and two things seem to really come out. And this is coming from inside the RCMP, that he was on a career path. He was really a good officer, before all the shit really hit the fan. He served under Lucky at one point. So that's why it's all rather interesting. But he seemed like he was going places. And that he was very honest, like honest to the bone. He was a hardcore Mormon. He may have had temper issues, but he was honest. And the RCMP really didn't like the fact that he spoke out about certain things. In fact, at one point, I think he was, I'm just going by memory, but I believe that he was ordered to instruct an impaired class. I think I go through it in that video. And he said to the people in the impaired class, well, listen, I just want you to know, as an RCMP officer, many of the people I work with drive impaired. That's what happens. I mean, this is the kind of guy that he was. He pled guilty to a charge where he pulled he didn't pull a knife per se, but he took a knife out and he put it on the table in front of his bishop. And he pled guilty to that. So this is the kind of, that's the character that I've understood Mr. Gregson to be. That he's pretty stand up. He takes his lumps if he's got them. And he doesn't really deny it. I mean, it's not to say that he didn't have difficulties with his lawyer. I think he's a difficult person. He's very alpha. That's just the way he is. Hello, Charlene. Hello. But the RCMP really didn't like him. And if you cross the RCMP, this is what sadly happens. And then he really went through, I should maybe, let me see if I can find it. I won't read it verbatim, but I was having a conversation with somebody about Mr. Gregson, and some of the things that they were describing as a member, it's the psychological profiles that they build, not just with members. I think we were only really speaking about that. But these profiles go across to all people. The 33 million article you may have seen. The observation and data collection on all of us, and though it may sound a bit tinfoily, all one has to do is just do a little bit of research and you will find out that figuring out people's trigger points and what upsets them or how to manipulate possibly their thinking, micro targeting, using data, big data. That's why big data is such a huge thing. All the things that you do on the internet, all the shows that you watch, all the apps that you have, all the places that you drive, all the contacts that you contact, things that you read, searches you do on the internet, etc., etc., etc. It builds a specific fingerprint for who you are. And this is the kind of thing that the RCMP has figured out years and years and years ago. In fact, I was reading a case this morning about the data collection that they were doing on a code of conduct. It was a hearing back in 2016 where they were GPSing a member. Multiple source GPSing. So I would assume that the car was one, phone would be another. And like they had it down to the minute. This member spent 97 minutes, between 97 minutes or 101 minutes, depending on the technological device that we consult. I mean, this stuff is really big stuff. Power out. Uh-oh, power went out. We're being watched. Don't fool yourself. Absolutely. You know, and you can say to yourself, well, this doesn't really matter. I'm not doing anything bad. Sure, that's true. But everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does things that are bad. And what defines bad? What is objectionable? Who says that that is objectionable? Is it your beliefs on a certain thing? Is it a friend that you have? Is it a club that you're a part of? Is it a food that you eat? These things are ever evolving. So this is not a long video. I probably should do maybe one or two more today because I really kind of been overloaded with a lot of stuff since June. I tend to forget 98% of what I see, which is not very good. So I should probably just bring some more out. But I wanted to lay the foundation that it's not just, corruption going on within the RCMP. Corruption goes across everywhere, right? Let's see. There were a couple of other passages too in here I found to be very interesting. He talks about the expeditious nature, Fleming, at which he wants to move the trial. And he kind of speaks against even one of the witnesses. He's almost farming around. My read of it is that he's farming around for a witness that might not have quite a favorable opinion of Mr. Gregson. And even if Mr. Gregson, which he did get convicted of it, so let's just go with that. He got convicted of first-degree murder. It could have been a manslaughter conviction, right? So this is why things like this are relatively important. Mr. Fleming needed the quote, the comfort of Dr. Sinclair being able to say clearly that he did not observe any psychological deficits in Mr. Gregson. Why would you want a witness to say that your client doesn't have a problem? And quote, the comfort that Dr. Sinclair had in fact turned his mind into rare diagnostic possibility of psychological trauma and had specifically discounted this. Mr. Fleming expressed his belief that, quote, Dr. Sinclair is best positioned and well qualified to close this particular door. Mr. Fleming also said, quote, finally, my aim is to make sure that this trial doesn't take any longer than necessary. That's a very important line. The expeditious nature at which the wheels of justice are supposed to move sometimes goes above and beyond. It turns into something else like, let's get it just over with. Let's get it. Do you hear that anywhere? I do hear that in certain places. Mr. Fleming noted that he did not anticipate that he would receive any support, supporting expert opinions for diminished capacity or the autonomism, that he would be unable to make these arguments. So anyway, I just wanted to bring you up to speed on that. They hate the truth, and they that love it. Yes, I would say. Too true, Paul. To me, they are openly doing these dirty deeds with zero accountability. I want my underwear back. We've been pay for all this. We pay for a lot of people. I mean, that case I was reading this morning, I read a bunch of these things. That person was doing something that they shouldn't have been doing, i.e., they were being unfaithful to their wife. To the best of the RCMP, they could not establish that this was happening on paid time, but that he had disobeyed an order to stay away from this person. The RCMP, kind of has that ability to interfere with members' lives. What was that one line here? When you're at depot, members are warned that they're likely to be married 3 times throughout their career, and each wife will take half of their pension. Ouch. Do you see how that immediately puts up walls of distrust? And we are your family. We're the ones who are really going to take care of you, not your spouse. That's not a very nice thing to say. Let's see what else we got. Oh, I identify as CSIS when where's my bagel? Where's my bagel? Director General. Oh, Oh Dear is in here. We got Blue Apple. Hello. Did I miss Oh Dear? Oh, hello, Oh Dear. I didn't put all the links down below because there's a team, and of course, there's a big team on the Discord. Whatever. I don't remember how many people we have now. I don't, unfortunately, spend a lot of time in there. How many people are we up to these days? I think it stays the same because the server's pretty much been closed, but there's a lot of foul language I'm seeing there. It hurts my eyes. My math. Let's see if I can do my math. 374 people. Great stuff. 374 people. And there are some channels that have been working hard on this all along. Steve, LTT, Just My Stupid Opinion. Got Concan, Tara, obviously, which is the connection I have to the whole story, because I'm just some guy out west. Don't you know? But my heart doesn't stop at my door. Most people's don't, I don't think. Couldn't get on the Discord for some reason, so I miss watching you there. I only get YouTube. Sorry. Hermit. How's a feller get on the Discord? Well, I don't know. I think we took a vote a long time ago that people need to verify their identities, which I know spooks a lot of people out because there are people in the Discord currently. It's not been a big secret. RCMP really, and maybe some other people, I'm not sure, don't want truth coming out about this. So they've been pretty actively working against that. Does that make me tinfoily? I would say not. No, I'm just a guy, Loretta, but I appreciate the. It's actually rather makes me feel strange, but just some dude. Like all of you. Big hearts, care, want truth. Not a bad thing. All right. I think I'm going to shut it down there unless anybody else has anything they want to say or if I missed something. And maybe what I'll do is I will do another stream today. I got some emails saying that my last video was too short at an hour, and this one's only 40 minutes. What am I going to do? Am I going to get hate mail? So I guess I'll have to report those people who send me that stuff, because I don't like being bullied with nasty words. Okay. Do take care. Maybe I'll set one up, and I'll see you again here soon. Okay? Take care. God bless you all. God bless 23.